Pine trees are loved for their evergreen foliage and ease of care, and the conifers come in all shapes and sizes for the landscape. We'll see how they are pruned to look their best and visit a longtime local Christmas tree farm on this edition of Great Gardening, straight ahead.
Every tree has a moment when it shines.
That's called moneywort or creeping Jenny.
You can go in and do a rejuvenating pruning.
Forage and feed for our native pollinator population.
A garden really gives you peace of mind.
Hello and welcome to Great Gardening. I'm Pamela Fish. We see them growing naturally all around us in this neck of the woods. The pine tree can soar to great heights or be kept smaller for special uses in yards, gardens, and farms. Let's welcome our resident experts who have sheared a few pine trees in their time. Tom Casper is a local garden professional, and Bob Olin, a horticulturist and educator. Have you cut a few pine needles and branches over the years?
Well, we sheared them up, haven't we, Tom?
A lot of sap.
Yeah. Keep the sap flowing.
Sap? The sap?
Sap, yeah, sticky fingers.
Okay. All right, we also want to welcome our phone volunteers who are from the Duluth Garden Flower Society. And this week we have members of the Mount Royal Club and the Lake Air Club, and we thank them for joining us. Please give them a call at the numbers there on the screen. They will take down your garden questions and get them to us for live on-the-spot answers. And I just want to mention that those phone volunteers, not only come here and help us, but they also do so many other things. Members of the Garden Flower Society clubs, they keep the little public gardens beautiful all summer all across the city.
Lots of good things.
Yeah, and we thank them for that as well. All right, well, let's take a look at this week's signs of the season. Ted Pellman out this afternoon and got a look at this beautiful, lush rhododendron. And some more blooms. What did we say? Was blossoming there?
That's pin cherry right there.
Pin cherry, okay, with the bridge in the background, and that one is
elderberry.
An elderberry.
Which ultimately will form those beautiful clusters of berries.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing how quickly things have been blooming and growing in just the last few days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I think spring is finally here.
You think so?
I hope so.
It
We hope
felt
so.
like it today. It looked like it today. So here's
I think
hoping.
We've turned the corner.
All
We're
right.
ready to go.
All right. We're ready to go. The season is the growing season is underway.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we also have a couple photos from Tom of the great color coming out right now. These are from this past week. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, just a couple of days ago, tulips, folks are able to keep the deer and rabbits away from them. Mm-hmm. Our tulips are just coming into bloom and lots of spectacular colors. with them,
Right.
so.
And then tell us about this beautiful and original flower.
This is a fritillaria, and a little bit difficult to grow in our neck of the woods, but will do pretty well. It's planted as a bulb in the fall, similar to what we do with tulips and daffodils. You do need to plant them deep, about 6 inches deep, and then cover them with mulch of some kind to protect them from the really cold temperatures you might get depending on the type of winter we have. So good winter protection, and they'll do okay.
All right. We're going to go now to just a few questions that we held over from last week. We always seem to have a few extra, and I think we can whip through those pretty quick. Jane from Superior is wondering what potted plants will attract hummingbirds?
Just about any of the blooming ones, certainly petunias or calibrachoas, stuff like that if she's thinking of potted annuals. As far as house plants kinds of things, if she wanted to bring them out, hibiscus would be a good choice for that. So.
Rod from Esco is wondering about his tomatoes that are 18 inches tall, and should he cut off the tops? They're early girl and beefsteak.
Beefsteak and early girl. I would not be cutting the tops off. 18 inches isn't so bad. If he said 18 feet or something, we'd be in trouble. But they do tend to stretch. Too early to set them out. We just have had frost warnings here, so maybe another week or so, and then I'd just let those go.
Okay.
And if he wants, he can plant those a little deeper. If he's worried about support on them,
Oh,
he can
okay.
plant them a little deeper in the container
Sure.
or in the garden. So.
Sure. All right. Manny from Duluth is wondering, why do I have skinny asparagus? It's fertilized both spring and fall.
You know, a lot of people really want the skinny asparagus.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, some of the new varieties that have recently been introduced, Millennium and a couple of the new Jersey varieties, are noted for their very thin stems. It's kind of a gourmet thing, but if in fact he's not getting the growth he wants, asparagus is really a heavy feeder. Some fertility right now would be a good idea, and then stop harvesting in July. Let's build the crowns and let those ferns go later in the season.
All right. Edna from Pike Lake has worm compost in her garage and has chunky white things in the castings. They may be springtails.
Oh.
Can she still use the castings on her plants? If they are springtails, how do I get rid of them?
You know, there are a couple of soil-borne insects that could be springtail, could be fungus gnat, and fungus gnat is more difficult to control. Any type of insect, springtail really isn't too damaging, but any kind of insect I wouldn't want with my houseplants for sure. So I'd get rid of them first,
Okay.
the insects, before you ever brought those in, and just kind of isolate it.
Okay.
Nothing else. If one non-chemical way of doing it is just taking those castings and just freeze them rock hard in the freezer for a while, even a month or so. There's one non-chemical way. Other than that, a lot of the over-the-counter insecticides are going to do a pretty good job. They're
I'm
not.
just laughing, thinking about taking it out of the freezer and not knowing what you.
Is this supper?
be careful. Yes, doesn't look like Mom's meatballs.
Better label it.
All right, Jerry from Ashland has a different variety plum trees, 7 of them. They're 8 to 10 years old with blooms but no fruit, and he does feed them triple 10 every other year.
Well, he wants to make sure that he's got a good pollinator out there, and that oftentimes is the problem. And there are a number that are designated just as pollinators, so you've got to make sure you get a couple of good varieties in there.
Okay.
They need to break bloom about the same time. This is where it really works. Working with a local nursery, someone that can give you the right kinds of varieties that are blooming about the same time. They oftentimes pair up that way.
Okay. Do you guys have plum trees, either of you?
I personally don't. I've grown them in the past, but not right at the moment.
Yeah, we don't right now either.
Okay.
So.
I've had them in the past too, and don't now, but love those fresh plums. I have wild raspberries, and they are spreading a virus to my raspberry plants. Also, they're growing among the lilacs. Wondering, should I dig them out? What do I do to get rid of them? The wild ones. And that's from Liz in Duluth.
Dig them out.
Yeah, Liz is right. Yeah, the wild raspberries are a reservoir of disease, and I would say even if you got a domesticated raspberry, you want to eliminate all the wild ones you possibly can. And right now, digging is the only answer at this point.
Okay. A couple of cherry questions. North Star cherry tree with signs of damage, split bark and oozing. Can it be saved? And will it impact nearby apple trees? And then one on, well, we can take that one first.
Okay. Well, they're two different genus, so you don't have to be concerned at all there. What's causing the damage? That could be a number of things. They are vulnerable to a number of what we call systemic fungi. That's very possible. Or it could be just damage, bark damage, sun scald damage, winter damage, that type of thing. Young trees, all young smooth bark trees, whether they're fruiting trees or whether they're ornamentals, should definitely be protected for the first maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And best thing to do right now is not do anything. Just allow it to heal if it does itself, rather than any kind of wraps or paints or different things like that people might put on other things. Best thing is to just let it heal. So.
Okay. And then Susan has Nanking pin cherries and Montmorency cherries. Does that?
Montmorency, yes.
Am I saying that right? Okay. They bloom, develop new growth, but then the growth dies and the fruit dies.
Oh.
Is that a disease? Do
Yeah,
we think?
I think so. If the fruit is developing, so we're getting pollination, fertilization, and then we're getting the fruit dropping, I think there are a number of brown rots that do attack those cherries, and I think that's what's happening. Make sure you get all the fruit picked up deep into the compost pile or hauled off site would be a good remedy.
Way to get rid of that. All right. All right, we'll get back to more questions in a little bit, but now to a tree farm and homestead in Hermantown where the pines are regularly pruned for optimum growth.
On the spruce tree, we just go right down here. We have hand shears. We don't have knives. the thing about this here, different than the Norway, these have buds, see, all along the lateral here? Well, that's what fills out the tree. And then we just do that every year till they sell them. It's all just how the knife or the shear goes. But we like to get them a little taller rather than so wide. Everybody does it differently. These now are hybrid spruce. That tree there is probably out 4 or 5 years, and that's when we shear. We like to have the sprout all the way out, so when we shear it's not going to be too deformed. We do this now. As soon as these are outgrown, all grown out now, then we shear. Balsams really shear out nice. But I don't have a lot of those, so. The Norway, though, is the one I said that we have to get them by the 4th of July because we have to get a bud of that new cut. Because they don't have the bud on the lateral, where these do. Bigger ones, see the tops?
Oh, I see.
The tops have to be trimmed off. Yeah, we cut those. A couple of those will be take the whole thing out. I mean, those real tall ones there. And leave a center one. And if there's 2 in the center, we'll get that down to 1. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of tops. My dad and I planted our first trees in about 1945 and 46. We would gather the cones, bring them in the house, and heat them so they opened up, and shake them out, get the seeds out. Then we had a seed bed up above the house. That big stand down there is some of those seed that we had gathered. That's how it all started, just as a hobby thing. We had about, I think, between 1,000 spruce trees that we started with in 1 acre back of the house. That's how he started. But we had no intent of using it for Christmas trees, really.
They're ready to harvest when?
Well, about 12, 14 years. There's people that have come back, but still people want an old-fashioned tree. There's been so many that are handed from generation to generation, you know. Their children now, and then now their children's children, and it just goes right down the line. And yeah, this is the trees that were seeded here. It'd be a forest for somebody sometime.
All right. Well, great advice from Milt, who's been doing this for
A
decades.
long time. Yeah, and again, this show exposes us to folks like that that are doing things in and around our community that most of us would have no other way of knowing that these things are happening.
Milt's been such a great contributor to our community for so many years, and he's got another option. People have a cut your own Christmas tree farm right next door in Hermantown.
Yeah.
That's right. We're going to go back to his property for a garden tour a little bit later on, but we do have some other information about pruning pine trees that we want to talk about right now, and we want to always prune on the new growth. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the most part, really. This is where pines and spruce, evergreens, are a little bit different than deciduous trees, those that drop their leaves. Deciduous trees we want to be pruning when they're dormant. The pines we want to prune when they're actively growing and after the new growth is fully extended. So pines will have a candle out there on the new growth. We want to cut that about in half. And Milt had a real nice explanation of pruning spruce trees. They do really shape up beautifully because there are multiple buds on those new extended growths. So you want to make sure you get the growth fully extended, and then you want to cut that back, and they're going to fill in just beautifully. Cedars, our northern white cedar or arborvitae, you can prune that winter growth out at, or winter burn out at any time. And then if you prune on the new growth, they're pretty amenable to being pruned just about any time during the growing season. So cedars aren't too hard to handle, and they shape up really pretty nicely as well. But on the new growth is really the time to prune. So if you missed your pruning your apple tree, now you can prune your new gold pine.
That's great.
There's always something to do.
There's always something, yeah. And certainly if you need to remove a branch or something like that from your spruce or pine, you can pretty much do that anytime. But shearing or shaping, you only want to do, as Bob mentioned, on that new growth. So.
Okay, great, Great information. We're getting some questions about pines and evergreens too. This was first one from Connie in Duluth. She has a pine tree that has holes all over it. Is it pine beetles?
You know, I don't think so. The first thing, depending on if there are a series of holes, I'm thinking possibly sapsucker, which would be the first choice.
Which is
Oftentimes,
a woodpecker, right?
Pardon me? It's a bird, of course, that actually sucks the sap and is
Okay.
nourished by it. It's different than a woodpecker, where a woodpecker is actually looking for the insects and feeds that way. So they're a little bit different. Sapsuckers are migratory. They come in flocks. They leave a very distinctive pattern. We're not seeing the kind of devastating pine beetles that are in the news in the western pines, the ponderosas and so forth. We haven't seen that, to my knowledge, at least in this area yet.
Kathy from Duluth wants to know what species of pine will make a good privacy hedge, a pine attaining maybe a height of 10 to 20 feet.
Well, several of them that we mentioned, whether it's pine or evergreen, things like that. Spruce, great for something like that. She can keep that cut down, and there's even some varieties that now only get to a certain size that she can use to limit. Also, even some of the cedars, if she's got deer protection or a way to protect them from the deer. And junipers would be another good choice. Some of the upright junipers that the deer don't like would be good for that.
I think that's well said. I think that really for privacy and for deer resistance, I think just our northern white spruce, which will prune up easily, and you don't need deer protection, and it's really not vulnerable to a lot of diseases. So that'd be my #1 choice for
That
our
would be yours?
privacy.
Okay.
hedge.
Dave from Two Harbors has brown needles on his spruce tree and is wondering after they fall off, will there be new growth?
You know, these are the leaves of the evergreen, and they will shed. Depends on where they are, of course. If they're out on the tip of the new growth, we've got some problems there that can be either disease or insect related, but they're going to shed, you know, a third of the needles every year. So if they're farther down the stem, it's nothing to worry about.
And also, again, this is one of those winters where we sort of got through the winter and we're like, it wasn't a bad winter, didn't have really a lot of cold, but we also didn't have a lot of winter protection.
Right.
And seeing it on a lot of our evergreens now, a lot of tip dieback and a lot of red needles, and pine trees affected even by salt spray. So if it was anywhere near a major road, even within a quarter of a mile, you can see drift from that, from the salt that's in the air from being used on roads and things like that. So a lot of times it will grow out of it though, but probably seeing something along that line. So.
Okay. One more pine tree one from Lois in Duluth. Can I grow a pine tree by planting a pine cone? Well, we saw that at Milt Sundquist Farm he did that.
Yeah, no, it's the cone itself. These are the scales, not the seed. The seed is at the base of each one of those individual scales, so it's just like you can't get corn by planting a corn cob,
Right,
even with
right.
the kernels. You got to split it out and separate it. So
And he said he did that. They did that by heating it and opening it up.
some will release seed that way. Others, you know, if you want to just collect it, look for when the red squirrels are out there feeding on them, and that'll give you a pretty good idea. Then you got to get to the seed before the red squirrels do. But when the squirrels get real active, it's time to start harvesting some of those cones and then stripping out the seed.
Okay. All right. We'll have time for more questions coming up, but for this week's tour, it's not just evergreens and pines that grow on the Hermantown farm we visited. There is a rich gardening history that continues there today.
And my name is Milt Sundquist, and well, I should tell my age, but I won't. Getting up there. Nice to have you at Pine Knob. That's the name of the farm, and we have a small Christmas tree operation. It's a place that's been in our families for many, many years. Started way before the 1918 fire. So we've got a lot of history. This is a Canadian rose. I forget the name of it, but there is a lot of color when they all bloom. I had a lot of roses in there, and then it got too shady, and then I quit tree roses. This one is called Fragrant Cloud. This is a strange rose because it comes out yellow and turns white. But I'm anxious for the flowers in that garden over there, her perennial garden. That really is colorful when it's all in bloom. She loves rocks, and we've got a lot of rocks. This is headwaters to Keenes Creek. And this is a branch that'll go down and meet on the other end of the Oakstrom Road. So there is close to 2.5 acres of water. In the spring, I think the ducks know where to come. I think we had 4 families this year. That's the last bridge that we put in, but that was a long one to put in. Kind of out in the woods. It's kind of peaceful, isn't it, here? Years ago, my mother and dad we had some cows here, and they raised carrots, cabbage, all the small stuff. And they'd truck it down, and they'd have kids working in the farms. Years ago, they'd go to the commission houses downtown where they get their orders in the morning, and they'd get us kids going in with how many dozen onions they needed, how many dozen radishes and baskets they needed for that. But it was interesting. That was our income. But that was the Depression days. Tough times, really. My dad and I planted our first trees in about 1945 and 46. That's how it all started, just as a hobby thing. We did have, I think it was close to 6,000 trees.
And it continues through the generations at Pine Knob. Milt said his daughters help now, and they do a lot of the shearing and the pruning and help operate the Christmas tree farm there.
I got to say, that was a beautiful piece, and we really want to thank Milt family and Ted Pellman. Our
Beautiful video.
did a very nice job on that video,
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
Beautiful memories. I mean, you look at something like that, again, that we get to see on a show like this that you would not even know is there. It's right here in our community. So.
Okay, well, guess what? There are plenty more questions for us to get to, so here we go. Cheryl in Duluth, when's the best time to spray apple trees?
Depends on what you're spraying for. There are dormant oils that should have gone on 2 weeks ago, and if it's a fungus problem, first you got to isolate, why am I spraying? That's the first question. I think we're going to let it go at that.
Okay, all right. Nicole in Esco, what would be a good perennial under a bird bath in a shady spot?
Lots of choices for that. A stilby, bleeding heart, of course hostas, deer love them, but if you have a spot where they can't get to them or protect them somehow, and ferns would be a great choice for that too. So, and beautiful, lots of varieties of ferns available. So.
And Tom, why don't people grow more ferns? Or why don't we just embrace the shade instead of constantly looking for more sun? I'm not sure.
That's a great question.
That is a good question. Okay,
Well,
we'll save that one for later.
Okay.
Mary from Duluth has an astilbe and is wondering, should I leave moss around the astilbe or remove it? Is that
I mean, if you can remove it, it's best to, and that's generally an indication of pretty heavy shade and not well-drained soil. So over time, if she can improve that, that will cut back on the moss. So.
Okay, and Shar in Duluth planted a blue spruce last year, but now it's green. It says any remedy to get rid of moss.
Right, well, moss seemed like a couple questions. Tom just alluded to it. We are seeing more moss. We had so much continual moisture last year. It is really a function of very wet conditions, improving the drainage, and then taking out some of the trees, or at least thinning them or pruning them so that we get a little more sunlight, I think is the answer.
Okay. Should I leave the leaves on tulips and daffodils over the summer?
Yes.
Yes, we've had that one before. And how can I prevent powdery mildew on bee balm?
Well, generally, and very big problem, and certainly the last couple of years, as Bob mentioned, about the moisture that we've had, big problem on bee balm. Look for newer varieties that are mildew resistant, probably a good choice. Planting in well lit and well ventilated areas of your garden, so not protected or covered areas, so you get good airflow. And third thing is if you have to water, water early in the day so the foliage dries off.
Okay, great points there. We got to touch on this rhubarb because you brought it in to clarify maybe something that we talked about before. You have 20 seconds.
Okay, real quickly, we had to take a little look at this because people were claiming that the stems of rhubarb were poisonous based on
Frost damage on the leaves.
Frost damage, and this is something that circulated very quickly on social media. And you want to stay tuned to PBS where you can get the straight information. The leaves, of course, contain oxalates and oxalic acid, and that can be poisonous. You never consume them. If, in fact, the frost or the freeze, not a frost, but if the freeze is so intense that it crumples leaves, you get up in the morning and it's all wilted, and the stem is mush. At that point, some of the oxalates can be transferred down into the stems. You should discard. Discard, pull them out, they will regrow. But other than that,
if they're firm, they should be good?
If they're firm and you just got a little frost, yes, a great, and you can make us both a little bit of rhubarb pie, one of our favorites. Prune them up, let them go, but do prune the seed heads. We're seeing a lot of seed head formation every year.
That'll help the growth of the plant.
Take them off as soon as you can, yes.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, in this week's Grow and Show, some bright new blooms of this spring, plus bold, lovely flowers from last summer. The tulips are in bloom in Esco. Gladys Bergstead shares some of her collection of lovely spring flowers, which come up among the violas and miniature hyacinth. It was a riot of color last summer in the Chisholm gardens of Denny and Lori Ryan when their many varieties of coneflowers came into bloom. These double-flowered echinacea contrast beautifully with the blazing star. And with the increasing popularity of the coneflower, you can now find them in all sorts of neon and bright colors. Cindy Donnelly of Duluth was thrilled to find her first experience with a black-eyed Susan vine so successful. Cindy did spray to keep away the deer, but says they didn't seem to like the luscious blooming vine as much as some of her other flowers. If you have photos of bright blooms or pictures of garden success stories you'd like to share, send them to greatgardening@wdse.org and let us show what you grow. All right, and remember to check our website for all the latest garden events, including 2 big plant sales this weekend at the Rose Garden, Duluth Garden Flower Society, and then one for Duluth Community Garden Program as well. And we have archived episodes for you as also. Thank you guys so much. Great information. A big thank you to our phone volunteers from Duluth Garden Flower Society, and of course to all of you who called in and who watched our program. Thank you so much, and enjoy the garden.